Our top story now, and 2 people have died of influenza caused by the H3N2 virus. 1 person died in Haryana, the other in Karnataka. An 82-year-old man in Karnataka's Hassan is believed to be the first to have died of H3N2. Hiregowda was admitted to hospital on February 24th and died on 1st of March. He had comorbidities, he was diabetic and suffered from hypertension. The second person was a Haryana patient who was a 56-year-old lung cancer patient who had tested positive for H3N2 in January but died on Wednesday. Now, the Union Health Ministry is keeping a close watch on the seasonal influenza situation. A meeting was held. The ministry said that they're closely tracking morbidity and mortality due to H3N2. The ministry also said that cases are expected to decline by March end when the flu season will finally abate. Well, to talk more about this, we're joined by Dr. Randeep Guleria, Chairman, Institute of Internal Medicine, Respiratory and Sleep Medicine, Medanta. Thank you, sir, and always great to have you on the program with us, to guide us through this latest, point of worry for everyone. First and foremost, why does it seem that the flu season is more severe this time around? Even if not H3N2, so many people have coughs or viral fever which just seem to linger.
Yes, so I think we're seeing a lot of influenza-related infection, and I think there are 3 or 4 causes for that. One cause is that, for the last 2 years, we've been following a lot of COVID-appropriate behavior in terms of physical distancing, wearing a mask, washing our hands, and that has helped us or protected us from a lot of viral infections. But that has all gone, and now we are therefore exposed to respiratory viral infections. This is the time of the year when the weather is changing, and data even from the past, from ICMR and the flu network, does tend to suggest that there is more influenza in tropical countries during this time of the year. Thirdly, I think what has happened is that because of COVID being there for the last 2 to 3 years, we haven't had a lot of influenza infection in the general population for the last few years. And therefore, our, let's say, general immunity against influenza has become less in the population, and therefore we are more vulnerable, if I put it that way, to getting the infection now, because influenza has not been there as a dominant viral circulating virus because of COVID. And now there's been the H3N2, which has come in as a variant from the past, and that all of this has actually contributed to a surge in the number of cases. But unlike COVID, because influenza has been there for quite some time, the majority of cases that we're seeing are having more of fever, cough, body aches, rather than having severe infection requiring hospitalization.
Right, sir. And these 2 cases in which tragically the deaths took place were patients with comorbidities. Again, there's also a vaccine. There's that yearly influenza vaccine that one can take, but that is very expensive, isn't it?
So we have an annual influenza vaccine, which covers 4 strains, 2 influenza A and 2 influenza B strains, a quadrivalent vaccine, which will give protection against H3N2 and also against H1N1, which was swine flu, which was the previously circulating strain which caused the swine flu or the influenza pandemic in 2009 and 2010. Therefore, I think for the high-risk group, the elderly, those with comorbidities, they should get themselves vaccinated every year. And we also have antiviral drugs, oseltamivir, which was popularly known as Tamiflu, which is also available as a treatment strategy for patients who suffer from influenza. I would say that if you have flu-like symptoms, don't only think of COVID, get your influenza test also done. And if you're in the high-risk group, it's better to consult your doctor and start some treatment in the form of antivirals and supportive treatment rather than letting it linger on and have more problems.
All right, sir, and your advice to viewers who may be very concerned or slightly panicked even with the news of these 2 deaths.
So I would say there's no need to panic. By and large, this is a mild disease. It causes a lot of symptoms in terms of fever, body ache, nausea, vomiting, headache. A lot of patients complain of persisting cough even after they become all right, which lasts for a few weeks. And backache is something that patients do tend to see. But normally, usually by 7 to 10 days, most people recover. The high-risk group and the elderly need to be careful, and they need to worry because in them, it can lead to influenza pneumonia, which can lead to a fall in saturation. And if they have comorbidities, then they have a higher chance of having more severe disease.
All right, so thank you so much as always for speaking to us and bringing clarity to this entire matter. And as the ministry said that the flu season is expected to abate by the end of March. Thank you for joining us. In other news now, Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia has been sent to the Enforcement Directorate's custody for 7 days in the Delhi liquor policy case. The central agency had sought at least 10 days to question the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister over alleged money laundering in framing the liquor policy, which was later scrapped. This as Telangana legislator and Chief Minister KCR's daughter K. Kavita held a hunger strike in Delhi. It was a day-long hunger strike for the women's bill. It came a day before she is going to be questioned by the CBI in the same case.
After the CBI, former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia will now be in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate for a week. A Delhi court has ordered after the agency sought 10 days custody to unearth what it called the larger conspiracy in the Delhi liquor policy case. In court, the Enforcement Directorate said that the Delhi liquor policy was tweaked to help South Group companies, adding that the calling of opinion on the policy by the Aam Aadmi Party government was an eyewash. The Enforcement Directorate also said that Manish Sisodia diluted the liquor policy without any consultation. It also said that the Aam Aadmi Party leaders received 100 crore rupees as advance kickbacks. Manish Sisodia's lawyer, however, countered the agency in court, saying that the Delhi Lieutenant Governor must be questioned too. Sisodia's lawyer said that it's become a fashion for agencies to take arrest as right.
ED plans to confront Manish Sisodia with both his former secretary and then excise commissioner, as both of them have given a statement that it was Manish Sisodia who tweaked the policy to favour the South Group. Also, sources say in total 7 individuals have been summoned for questioning by the agency in the next 7 days. That also includes BRS leader Kavita.
The ED custody of Sisodia comes just hours before another high-profile questioning in the same case. Telangana Chief Minister KCR's daughter and BRS leader K. Kavita led this protest in Delhi for women's reservation before her Saturday appearance in front of the Enforcement Directorate for questioning in the liquor policy case. On the South connection to the liquor policy case, the ED said that there is a political understanding between top Aam Aadmi Party leaders and BRS leader K. Kavita. Kavita is the daughter of Telangana Chief Minister KCR. As per the Enforcement Directorate, Kavita's ex-aide had access to confidential Delhi government reports. Kavita's Delhi protest was attended by a host of opposition leaders.
Whether opposition unity is a possibility or a pipe dream remains to be seen. But the fact is that ED-CBI heat is what is bringing these opposition leaders together. In the run-up to 2024 and in a crucial election year, how are these opposition leaders going to present themselves as a suitable alternative when it's becoming increasingly difficult for them to wriggle out of corruption charges? With Sudhir in Hyderabad and camera person Ashok Mahale, Vedant for NDTV.
Well, let's get to the latest from the crisis in Kochi, and Sam Daniel joins us from there, and this is after the Brahmapuram waste plant. There was a fire there around 8 days ago, but even since then, the toxic fumes and smoke continue to engulf the area and causing Kochi to choke. In fact, and Sam, you've had a difficult day, reporting very near that Brahmapuram waste plant. What is the situation right now? And we believe residents are now fleeing from the area.
That's right. Many have moved to neighboring districts, Gargi. We come to you from ground zero at Brahmapuram, and what you see behind us is flames rising at this particular point, and there is smoke everywhere. It's like a gas chamber. And what's happening here is a team of firefighters and bulldozers actually scoop the layers of garbage of 20 years, and simultaneously the firefighters spray water and extinguish. And this is not just in this area, but goes up to a radius of 15 kilometers, touching even Fort Cochin and the Marine Drive there. For residents in this area, it's like a gas chamber, a nightmare in night particularly because wind direction is towards this side. And authorities say in this 100-acre campus, garbage is in 40 acres, and only in one of the 7 zones that is still smoldering, and that's why this operation is slowly achieving progress. One good news is that the air quality index, which was worse a couple of days ago, crossing 400, has now improved, hovering around 125. And they say if they could achieve little more progress, it could turn better. The bigger worry, of course, what kind of a permanent health damage inhaling carcinogenic gases could have. Here is my ground report. Toxic fumes coming out of this 100-acre garbage dump yard on the outskirts of Kerala's Kochi city for 8 straight days now have forced Bjorn, an engineering student at a college close to this dumping ground, to return to his hometown Thrissur, 80 kilometers away.
On Tuesday morning, the situation had improved from last night, but again by 11 p.m., smoke had blanketed the entire campus and we literally found ourselves breathing smoke throughout the entire night.
A similar story 2 kilometers away at Cochin's IT hub Kakanad. Entrepreneur Nipu Cherian's wife Donna has moved to Wayanad 250 kilometers away to escape the cocktail of plastic, rubber and metal.
Consequence is that a certain percentage of population of Kochi will turn into cancer patients in the next 5 years.
At this women's hostel 1.5 kilometers away from the dump yard, Anjali and Nauren, both engineering students, say the stench is a 24/7 nightmare, apart from the health risk.
My parents told me to come home because they are afraid of the smoke. So
Leaving?
yeah, I'm leaving.
Although the inferno has been contained, people in this vicinity breathe toxic fumes 24/7. Health experts say the impact on health will be clear only much later. Doctors and health experts say the fumes can cause cancer, kidney ailments, infertility and lung disease.
It may also have some impact on the brain, including some slowness of thought or irritability or those things. And the long-term effects are something that we previously mentioned, including cancer.
Even after 8 days, the state government is yet to get scientific data on the toxicity levels. It's only advisory, wear mask and stay indoors if required.
Now no serious cases are not reported up to now, but all system is functioning. Our health minister is personally monitoring all these things.
While toxic fumes are billowing for the 8th day, Cochin is literally gasping for breath amid fears of irreparable health damages. While authorities are clueless about the health impact, the big question, will someone be held accountable? At the Brahmapuram dumping yard in Cochin with SP Babu, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
The BJP and Congress are now facing off in Rajasthan over a protest dharna by Pulwama widows that was forcibly ended by the police late last night. A BJP leader was held today for instigating the protest as Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot accused Kiroli Lal Meena of using the widows for political gains. He said that most of the demands made by them were agreed to. Harsha Kumari Singh explains.
A protest by 3 women whose husbands were martyred in the Pulwama attack, now a political flashpoint in Rajasthan. The dharna forcibly removed by the police. BJP Rajya Sabha MP Dr. Kiroli Lal Meena's supporters detained. And the MP himself stopped en route to one of the homes of the soldiers, now admitted in hospital after he was injured in a scuffle with the police.
सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मुख्यमंत्री जी मिलने को भी तैयार नहीं है। वो अब कानून की गुहार लगा रहे हैं, समझा रहे हैं सबको। रक्षा मंत्री जी ने, केंद्र के रक्षा मंत्री जी ने उनको फोन करके आग्रह कर दिया है कि आप मिलिए, परिवारों से मिल लीजिए, लेकिन नहीं।
The widows of the CRPF men who died in Pulwama were demanding jobs for relatives. In one case, the widening of a road outside their home, the installation of a soldier statue and the naming of a government school after one of the soldiers who died in Pulwama. The Rajasthan government had agreed to most of these demands except one, where the Chief Minister questioned whether it would be correct to take away the rights of a minor child and give the job to a relative instead. As jobs, he said, are kept secure for children of soldiers killed in action, till those children become adults. Dr. Kirori Lal refused to accept the Chief Minister's contention, demanding that the CM meet the widows and give a written assurance. But now, with the sit-in forcibly lifted, it's headed for a political clash, with the BJP calling for a statewide protest on the issue. In Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today raised with his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese the issue of the recent attacks on temples in Australia. He said it disturbs our mind. This as the two prime ministers held discussions on boosting cooperation in several areas like clean energy, trade and investment and defence.
यह खेद का विषय है कि पिछले कुछ सप्ताहों से ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मंदिरों पर हमलों की खबरें नियमित रूप से आ रही है। स्वाभाविक है कि ऐसे समाचार भारत में सभी लोगों को चिंतित करते हैं, हमारे मन को व्यथित करते हैं। हमारी इन भावनाओं और चिंताओं को मैंने प्रधानमंत्री एल्बेनीजी के समक्ष रखा और उन्होंने मुझे आश्वस्त किया है कि भारतीय समुदाय की सेफ्टी उनके लिए विशेष प्राथमिकता है।
Now on to some very sad news. Oyo Room's founder Ritesh Agarwal's father Ramesh Agarwal died after falling from a high-rise in Haryana's Gurugram. The police say they received the information at around 1 p.m. that a person had fallen from the 20th floor of DLF's The Crest Society in Gurugram. The police say that the person was rushed to Paras Hospital for treatment but was declared brought dead. His body was then handed over to the family after the autopsy. Ramesh Agarwal was recently spotted at his 29-year-old entrepreneur's son's wedding to Gitansha Sood. In fact, several high-profile guests were in attendance at the reception. A Muslim man in Bihar Siwan district died at hospital after a mob brutally thrashed him on the suspicion that he was carrying beef. 56-year-old Naseem Qureshi, a resident of Hassanpur village, and his nephew Feroz Ahmed Qureshi were on their way to meet some acquaintances when the mob intercepted them at a village and then assaulted them.
Grief, disbelief and anger at the home of 56-year-old Naseem Qureshi in Bihar Siwan district, a day after he was lynched by a mob on the suspicion of carrying beef. The police said Naseem and his nephew Feroz, who managed to escape, were caught by villagers allegedly led by the Pradhan or village head near a mosque and hit with wooden sticks when they were on their way to meet some acquaintances. The police say the mob themselves handed over Mr. Qureshi to the police, after which he was rushed to a hospital but died during treatment.
दोनों आदमी साथ में जा रहे थे, चाचा और हम गाड़ी पे थे, वो चला रहे थे, हम बैठे थे, ठीक है। उसके बाद से वो कबल जब तक जीते हुए हैं थी से सरपंच जी दूर से देखे जब इनको तो करें कि आ रहा है उसको धरो, उसको मारो साले, वही ऑर्डर दिए। अगर हम बुझ गए, देखे डंडा वंटा हाथ में, कूद कर हम भाग चले, उनको आदमी दौड़ाया, हम निकल गए आगे, इनको धो लिया, सब इन्हीं को लगा से मारने।
इसमें 5 नामजद व्यक्तियों पर FIR हुई है, जिसमें 3 को पुलिस ने गिरफ्तार करके जेल भेज दिया गया। एक वहां पर जो है सुशील सिंह सरपंच बताया जा रहा है, बाकी लोगों पर हम कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं जैसा आपको बताया, और शीघ्र ही हम इसमें आरोप पर समर्पित करेंगे।
The police are on the hunt for 2 more men who were also named in the complaint in the case. They are still investigating if the victims were carrying beef. With Manish Kumar and Habib Ali, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, market news now, and shares of Silicon Valley Bank tumbled for a second day Friday and weighed on the entire banking sector again. Shares in Silicon Valley Bank, a key lender to technology startups, plunged after it announced plans to shore up its finances, and this had a knock-on effect, with the 4 largest US banks losing more than $50 billion in market value. And this sent jitters through global markets as well. And in some more positive news, India's industrial production has risen for the month of January. In January, IIP growth is at 5.2% versus 4.7% in December. Manufacturing of electrical equipment is up by 13.6%, while electricity output is up 12.7% and mining output growth at 8.8%. Now, in a significant development for the region, long-time regional foes Iran and Saudi Arabia have agreed to resume diplomatic relations as well as reopen embassies in each other's countries. This following China-led negotiations in Beijing. Both governments announced via their respective state media agencies. Saudi Arabia had cut diplomatic ties with Iran in 2016. Improved relations between Tehran and Riyadh could have an effect on politics across the Middle East, and it also demonstrates China stepping up its role in the region in new ways.